It is 8:02 now. Joining us live via Zoom is professor in the Center for Infectious Disease and Vaccine Research at La Jolla Institute for Immunology, Dr. Shane Crotty. We've spoken a few times, so we're so glad to have you here live on the morning show as this big announcement has happened so quickly, really came out last evening, and I think now it seems as though messaging will be a big concern, getting people to buy in. You've said really it's not that there's less data with this vaccine. Really, there's been more data than we've ever seen in such a short period of time.
That's correct. So you would really be hard pressed to find any medicine that's become available that's had as much actually safety data as this vaccine, because to get enough information about how well the vaccine would work, it required a really huge clinical trial. And so now they've had 40,000 doses of this vaccine into people, and then at the same time, essentially a completely parallel, independent clinical trial by a totally different company, with another 30,000 doses of immunizations worth of safety data that have all said the same thing, that these are very safe vaccines and incredibly effective vaccines. So there's an enormous amount of safety data, which is why the FDA was so comfortable with their decision.
And you've talked a lot about money being the key factor in making this possible, that you have not just money, but ingenuity as well, that you have all of the world's leading scientists, including yourself, fully dedicated to making this happen in a way that we have never, ever seen before in human history.
That's correct. I mean, there's never been a vaccine developed within a single calendar year ever in human history. So like everybody should be phenomenally happy about that. And then you go from that to there are actually three successful phase 3 clinical trials against the same disease in the same year. That's never happened before in history. And definitely, as you said, the science is a big part of that, and it's really 20 years worth of science that's a big part of that. But also it has been about money solving the problems that money can solve, which has been something that people haven't understood. That one of the things organizations started looking at back in March was to say, well, look, normally it would take, let's say, 5 years to develop a vaccine. But some of that is because a company's not going to manufacture a vaccine until they know that it works. And so you wait until after the phase 1 clinical trial, and then you wait again after the phase 2, and then you wait again after the phase 3. And instead, governments and charitable organizations and the companies themselves said, well, all right, how about we just pay the $1 billion up front, right, to go ahead and manufacture these things so that they will be ready at the end of the phase 3 clinical trial. And then if we lose the $1 billion, we lose the $1 billion. Right. And instead, what's happened has been that investment is paid off, right? That payment in advance is paid off extraordinarily, because you literally have vaccine doses shipping now instead of a year from now.
And Shane, can you quickly give us an update on where you see, I hate to move on from the celebration of the Pfizer vaccine, but where are we with Moderna and with AstraZeneca, some of the other trials? Can you anticipate what that time frame might be for some of the others?
Certainly. The Moderna vaccine trial data, based on the information that's been made publicly available, looks like it's really just behind the Pfizer vaccine. So both of those are RNA vaccines. They've had very similar results in humans, and the Moderna vaccine was essentially a few weeks behind the Pfizer vaccine in terms of their timetable. The Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is a different type of vaccine. It's further behind, and so far hasn't looked as good, and so it's unclear what its path is going to be. And I'd expect to hear more about that one in I think February at this point. Okay. And then the fourth one would be the Janssen or the J&J vaccine, which is in the midst of its phase 3 clinical trials. I think people are expecting information about that one in January.
Okay. All right, well, we will look forward to that. I'm sure we'll be speaking again as we hear more developments. Really appreciate your insights. You always make me feel better. And your Twitter page, I have to tell our viewers, is a great resource for information, even if they don't have access to all of the data or care to go through all the data. You can learn a lot from following Dr. Shane Crotty on Twitter, as I have. So thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.